Hey everybody, you are about to watch the Dr. Jaime Show. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome to the Dr. Jaime Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy December 1st. Yes, I did a very lame little thing for you. Happy December 1st. Oh, ho, ho. Look who's joining us today, Sebastian, our elf. He's here to hang out with us. He magically appeared on the set early this morning. We are glad to have you with us, Sebastian. But we have an amazing episode today. We are talking all things cryptocurrency and Bitcoin today. So Facebook, message in your questions on the chat. We have someone reading them. Twitter, I guess, Lance, can get questions through Twitter. Okay. And then BitChat, you know the drill. You can call in and ask questions live on the spot. BitChat and Bitcoin, I'm going to get them confused today. BitChat, the platform was kind of sketchy this morning, so if we shut down, jump on my Facebook, which is Dr. Jaime Workshops and Coaching, or Twitter, and you can watch us streaming live. So we have Lance Ippolito, with Trading Coach Lance, on the show today. He is a trading coach, and he's going to chat with us about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. We also have Chris Jenkins with the Symphony Agency, and he's an expert in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and he is going to chat with us about all things Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. They're laughing at me in the background. It's probably because Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are so up and down. Things are changing all the time. It's probably hard to be an expert with something that's changing every 4.5 minutes. Literally every 4.5 minutes. I think something happened last night. So anyway, so we're going to have a great show today. Get your questions ready. I do have my cell phone here, guys. You know I don't look at it, but I am during this show because we have so many questions coming in. We've had 6 or 7, so I'm going to make sure these questions get answered before my questions today. So be prepared for an awesome show. What to expect. So next week we have on the show Debbie Lundberg with Presenting Powerfully. This is all things on leadership and developing yourself and speaking, presenting yourself powerfully. So get ready for a great episode next week. Then on the 15th, we have Ellie Hirsch on the show. She is the owner of the Mommy Masters, and we're going to have a show on parenting. So send in your questions on that. On the 22nd, which will be our last show of the year, who else are we going to have on? Our favorite astrological coach, Marty Montez, to give us an astrological forecast of what your sign can expect in 2018. So be prepared. And then we bring in the new year, and I will give you more details on who we have coming up. But expect a firearms segment, a Women in Power segment with some super women in power. My husband's firing people in the background. We have a woman on that has survived serious abuse in a relationship, and she's going to tell us how she overcame and what her story was. And we're also going to have another parenting segment during the new year as well. So a couple things that you can do. You know, we had Colette Florido on the show, not to be mistaken for Florida, right? Although he might be on the show at one point, who knows? And she introduced me to Come See Our World, a great product, CBD oils, coconut oil, hemp oils. They are amazing. Do me a favor and go to drjaime.comeseeourworld.com, and you can find out the way you can partner with me and share these oils with so many people that are in pain, have stress. So that is drjaime.comeseeourworld.com. Okay, advertisements. Guys, you have got to be so proud of me after a year and a half. This is our first time in VidChat. I'm sure you're so proud of me, and I'm proud of you. We finally have our final set up in here. We had no board, then we had a whiteboard, and nobody liked the whiteboard. But now we have our set finalized, and I owe it all to sponsors and viewers, and I truly mean it when I say thank you so much. I'm so humbled and so grateful. So that being said, go to YouTube, iTunes, subscribe to the Dr. Jaime Show. So very good. CNBC, you all know I will be on CNBC, the job interview on December 20th, so 10 o'clock Eastern time was at 7 o'clock Pacific time. So that's a don't miss episode for sure. I'm going to do everything I can to get that recorded, and that will be up on my YouTube page for you to watch. We're not going to have a quick recap of the week because I need to bring these guys out right away so we can answer all of your questions. But Thanksgiving, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family, present in the moment, just very grateful. That's just a great week to be grateful and in the zone. What I love about Thanksgiving is that, and I love Christmas, obviously, I love Christmas, right? I'm so excited for this holiday season. I have so many things to be grateful for and looking forward to. But there is an expectation for presents, right? I can't change that. I can't change the world. Although I think I can change the world. Okay, anyway, so let's get back to the point. So for Thanksgiving, there's not an expectation for presents. It's gratefulness, it's family, it's friends, and so that's why I absolutely love Thanksgiving. Again, I hope that you were in the moment. And while there is an expectation for presents during Christmas, and I can't change that, just make sure you don't overdo it so that you can enjoy the season instead of just can't wait for it to be over. Stop and enjoy the season because unfortunately there's a lot of people that aren't going to be here to enjoy the season. So with that being said, I'm not going to do a super long rundown for you. I guess we're just going to bring out who you are dying to see, our Bitcoin and cryptocurrency experts, Chris and Lance. Come on down.
Nice, you two.
Yay. Yeah. Come on down. You guys are going to give me a hug. All my guests hug me. You guys are so hungry. Welcome. All right. Okay, so just so you know, the pressure is on because this is the most anticipated show of the year with a stack of questions and a bunch on the phone. Wes, if any questions come in on Facebook, just let me know.
Will do.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Okay. So, Chris, welcome. Lance, welcome. I guess before we start, one of the things that we do on the Dr. Jaime Show is we say something that is unique or interesting about you that nobody or very few people know. So, who wants to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't know I fished competitively in college.
Oh, cool.
You didn't know that?
Yeah.
Zero recognition for it.
but now,
yeah.
Everyone thumbs him up.
And I took etiquette class
Ooh.
for business school, and we had about 4 weeks of ballroom dancing, and I got on the cover of the school paper for ballroom dancing.
But not for fishing.
But not for fishing.
I love it. Something unique or interesting.
Well, I do have to clarify, first of all, the only crypto experts are the ones who write the code.
Okay.
I'll take technology expert.
Okay.
But my unique thing, I think that most people don't know, is I'm actually into lock sport. I pick locks as a hobby.
Ooh.
So I have a whole little kit of lock picks, and I've broken into my house multiple times using
Nice.
it.
So
too.
is Wes.
Yeah.
Yes, fabulous. So anyone looking to break into people's homes, you've got right here. Just kidding. Okay, that was funny. Big chat, do me a favor. If the platform shuts down, I'm just going to periodically tell you this. Jump on Facebook or at Dr. Jaime Workshops and Coaching, or you can follow me on Twitter and go ahead and join us in the conversation over there. The platform was a little sketchy this morning. So, Wes, I didn't think of this, but you guys, we used to have the whiteboard with a quote up there, and now we don't have the board, so I don't have a quote. So we're gonna skip the quote section today for the first time. Okay, so I guess I want viewers to know who they're getting their information from. But before you tell us a little bit about what you do professionally, can you tell us a little bit about yourself personally? I put on here, dad. Do you have cats, dogs, birds? Ballroom dresses, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but tell us a little bit about who you are.
I've been in technology for about 20 years now. I'm dad of 2 and husband of Kim, and the chief digital officer at Symphony Agency. I've been a programming nerd for a long time. I love code. I love the fact that you can take something ephemeral and make something out of it and other people can use it. So that's always been a passion for me. And a big believer in driving technology growth in St. Pete in particular. I think
Cool.
the Tampa Bay area is a prime next technology hub.
Okay, and any pets?
I have 2 leopard geckos, actually.
Oh,
They
very
were
nice.
inherited from my daughter, who moved out and didn't have space for the tank in the new place.
Your son? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always say that I
That's
have
life.
3 pets because I have 3 boys. Okay, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, I'm Lance Ippolito. No kids or anything, thankfully. Yeah. I have a French bulldog at the house that makes noises constantly, and roosters.
Roosters!
Ooh.
They have so many of those in Key West.
Yeah.
So he let's say you leave him alone for 5 seconds, he makes a rooster noise. And it's so weird because people don't know what to think when they see it. Like some dogs will howl, he roosters. And then I have a couple of neighborhood cats that I just feed. And
Yep.
We have a neighborhood
Yeah.
cat we feed. We call him Marley.
Yep.
So Marley comes up in. And then obviously fishing, right?
Fish a lot. Like last night I was tarpon fishing, Tampa Bay area. I live right by the river now, so I fish a lot inshore, Tampa Bay, and then offshore out of the Skyway in Sarasota.
Awesome. Excellent. Super great. I'm sure my husband will pick your mind on that. Because he loves that. Okay. All right. So now professionally, how did you get into trading, Lance? Where did it begin?
Well, in college for finance, they really don't tell you anything about trading or stocks. Everything's very old school. The bond market's pretty much dead right now. So there was that factor of, what is it, right? They don't. It was almost like a taboo subject, like a gray subject that no professor would harp about. So I took, my own interest in it and started researching online. Started researching, different platforms, looking at charts, finding out how different stocks move, volatility measurements, and really got into the options market more than anything else because it was more transparent than stocks. So that kind of snowballed in college, and then I got out of college and figured, wow, no one's doing this. There's no jobs available for it. So I basically did everything on my own, started working for a fund for about a year, and then said, I think I could do this for a living, and then start working with people doing it to better themselves and better, their trading expertise, and that's what it's really snowballed to. I've really focused on the options market, looking at insider activity, and then basically piggybacking with the whales. So I'm just a small fish in a big pond, but if I could find out what the big funds or what the insiders are doing, that has created to a lot of success.
I love it. And I picture him at his desk with like 3 computers and so that's awesome. Okay. All right. So Chris, the IT type industry. Tell us a little bit.
I built my first website in 1998 using Netscape Navigator, technology that's all dead now. But I was thrilled with it. The idea that you could create things and put them out on the World Wide Web and people would come and interact with it. It was all just like magic to me. So I started trying to figure out how can I get a job in technology, because I think I was delivering pizza at the time. And got a job at a help desk and found that I had a knack for it. And over the years started working my way towards a place where building websites could be my job. After the economy crashed back in 2007, I was out of work and started doing a lot of contract work on the side, and it turned out that was viable. But at some point in time, I stopped looking for another job because I was making enough money doing this that it would replace the paycheck. And then that built up over the course of about 4 or 5 years, and in 2015, Symphony approached me and said, hey, we want to build out a technology wing in-house in the organization, and we think you'd be the partner to do it. So they acquired my company, and the rest is history.
Excellent, excellent. I remember the internet. I actually teach a course on this type of topic, and when we used to have the dial-up, can you imagine waiting now? Like a fax machine, and then someone would pick up the phone upstairs, and you'd be like, damn it! I was trying to connect! And then it shuts you down. So no more of that. Wow, times have changed so much. Okay, so I'm going to ask a few questions out of here just so we can familiarize people with what cryptocurrency and Bitcoin are, and then I'm going to switch over to my phone and ask some of the questions that have come in from viewers. Same thing, again, just one more time, big chat. The platform was a little funky this morning. If we go down, jump on Facebook at Dr. Jaime Workshops and Coaching, or right here on Twitter, we are live if this goes down. Okay, cryptocurrency is our focus today. Can you tell the viewers what this even is? What is cryptocurrency? Whoever wants to take the floor.
I guess I'll start with Bitcoin and then if you
Sure.
want going. So in 2009, so you had the financial crisis in 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto, who was apparently the Bitcoin creator, he started the blockchain technology. Now that we know, that was Bitcoin basically. He started the first Bitcoin back in 2009. If you think about it, everything, the whole financial market was in stress. The banks were all getting bailed out. It was probably the roughest time in the economy we've seen. And then here he is creating a Bitcoin effect, a currency that picked up steam because it was anonymous, it was new to the market, and it was a form of payment that there was no regulation over.
So cryptocurrency is like a form of payment, I guess, for just the people that are new to it. It's a form of payment, or
Right.
money, I'm sorry.
Right,
Form of
it's a
money.
form of currency.
Okay.
We'll look at it.
Okay.
So when you think about the banks, how they have money in the U.S. dollar and international currencies and gold, here he is creating an innovative technology that we know is Bitcoin, and really that snowballed into effect with a lot of countries now that they saw their currencies getting devalued, or they saw their governments taking over with the financial markets, and here was almost like an escape. It was like a factor that people started to pour money into that was innovative, and there was no trace of it. So it caught a lot of people's attention because it was almost like a secret code that people can take their money, let's say, out of the wand and put it into Bitcoin, and then send that money to others with no trace. So it became a lot of attraction. Then we had a Bitcoin crash, which we'll talk about a little bit later, with the Silk Road and the dark web, and now here we are.
Well, as you're talking about it too, and guys, just so you know, I'm really new to this too, so I'm learning as we go, but you're saying you can trace it or not trace the money, and instantly the dark web and, like, I don't want to say evil, but comes to mind because you can transfer money and do things and it's not traceable, right? And it's still not, is it still not traceable?
That's kind of arguable at this point. I mean, one of the appeals early on of Bitcoin for a lot of people was the fact that, there wasn't a well understood mechanism for how to track those things. But as the market for cryptocurrency has grown, of course, the SEC and various other regulatory agencies have taken a huge interest in it, especially given how large the overall market capitalization is. So, I wouldn't suggest that they're completely untraceable at this point,
Okay.
But that was fundamentally how they were created.
Okay, all right, very good. So what are the different forms of cryptocurrency? And they told me there's 1,200, so they're going to list them all right now. Starting with number one. No. So can you kind of tell us some of the big ones that most people are trading on or talking about right now?
Any of the major indexes, you're going to see basically three coins. Bitcoin, which is the granddaddy. Litecoin, which was the first altcoin or an alternative to Bitcoin. And then Ethereum, which essentially came about because a lot of smart people looking at this code said, hey, this distributed ledger technology could be useful to build applications on if we had some sort of a standard that would help sort of outline what the rules of these transactions are. And so they created something called the ERC-20. It's essentially a development standard for how you create these contracts in Ethereum. And people started building all sorts of crazy things off top of that, which is where most of the altcoin market comes from. The vast majority of it's off of Ethereum. So you can essentially create a new altcoin that runs on the Ethereum network, but it's your own entire little token. So if you want to create Jaime Coin.
Oh, I do. Yep, and you're great in IT, so I want the Dr. Jaime altcoin. Okay, all right, and we're going to go into this more later, but of the three coins, is there, I don't want to say a safer one, but not such a drastic change in one of them?
The
The answer is no. Moving on. Okay. Okay, let's start with Bitcoin. Any background on Bitcoin that we need to know about?
I think we covered a lot of it.
Yeah, well, this was probably, 06-ish, maybe about then. So a lot of people don't recognize, so Bitcoin was used. It got popular maybe 10, 12 years ago with the dark web. So people and Silk Roads. What it was basically a thing on Amazon or like eBay right now. And people were buying drugs, guns, a lot of illegal services, and they were using that payment. It was almost like Amazon. You could read reviews on it, who was doing it. So an individual without their name, address, nothing, could go buy Bitcoin and then go on this Silk Road website, like an Amazon, and buy the drugs, have it shipped to them, usually from Europe to the U.S., and that was it. And that's how Bitcoin became popular. People were using it
For the wrong reason.
for the wrong reason. So it had a negative impact. When the Silk Road got busted, with, I think his name was Pirate Dread Roberts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like someone should be
Right.
caught.
I like the
Sir Pirate Dread and Walks.
There's a Netflix
And vodka.
yeah, Dread Pirate Roberts, which there's a documentary on Netflix now. I think he's in prison for life, if I recall. And after that bust, Bitcoin crashed. I believe it was right around 1,000 and it crashed.
1,200 and then down to 200.
Right, and a matter of like that. And then for years, Bitcoin just hovered around 200-300, and there was really no volume, there was no interest in it, there was nothing. I remember back three years ago or so, when I was at Citigroup Global Markets, the anti-money laundering area of Citigroup, when they had to study Bitcoin because it was a means of money laundering. So it was a negative impact. So when people thought of Bitcoin, or at least, so this is an AML part of a bank, they thought of Bitcoin, they thought, oh, this is a scam, this is bad, this is bad.
Some people do still think that.
Right. And then we've seen recently this year the Bitcoin surge where you have national media attention, you have retail investors. I mean, you have Bitcoin on CNBC probably more than you have stocks now. And I think Chris spoke about it earlier. Bitcoin's up, 1,000% year to date?
1,000% in 1 year.
In 1 year. What else,
Dr.
Apple.
JV Coin.
Right.
Probably explain.
If you look at a big stock like Apple, maybe we're up 10%, the S&P up 15%. Bitcoin's up 1,000%. So to say the popularity is back and in full effect would be an understatement.
So you said the word Silk Road a couple times. For those of us out there that don't know what Silk Road is, tell us what it is, I guess.
Think of Amazon. So if I want to buy a computer on Amazon, I can browse thousands of them, I can read reviews. Does it have what kind of processor? What's the screen size? What's the resolution? That's how Silk Roads was for drugs. Hardcore drugs too, not just your typical street drugs. Guns as well, and a lot of bad stuff Silk Roads was. And people were paying for these items, right? Because I'm not going to go and buy drugs on my credit card online.
Right.
I was using Bitcoin. So I'd open up a Bitcoin wallet, send it to someone, they get the code, and then I get the drugs.
So to access Silk Road, is that something you go through the dark web to get to? Or is Silk Road, we go to silkroad.com, don't do it on your computer right now.
No, you literally couldn't get to silkroad.com on your computer. Actually, that .com maybe, but that wasn't actually Silk Road. They're part of the Tor network, which is you have to use an Onion browser or Tor browser, and you have these .onion websites. It is a very difficult to access section of the internet. Most people commonly have never seen any part of it at all. And that actually kind of ties together with Bitcoin as well. One of the things that kept Bitcoin so unused for so long was just a real lack of accessibility. There wasn't good ways to get cash in and out of it. Essentially, you had to either be mining it yourself or be getting, sent it through digital wallets and all the rest of that. One of the things that's fundamentally helped drive the growth of Bitcoin is services like Coinbase that have made it easy to use your PayPal to get Bitcoin and to get your Bitcoin back out into cash.
Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to switch over to the viewers' questions, and then we'll come back to mine. I want to make sure theirs gets answered. Let's see what we have here. I'm going to read off a list of them. Okay, and these are in no order, guys, so we might be flopping around. And Facebook, feel free to message in your questions as well right now. What is something people should look for as differences when it comes to choosing a digital wallet?
Well, I mean, it depends on what your goals are, really. If you are the kind of person who has a taste for wild risk and you like playing blackjack in Vegas, you probably want something that's super accessible. So, one of the digital exchanges, Coinbase, GDAX is their exchange. Bittrex is very popular. I've used Stocks.exchange. Those are all services where you are keeping the coins in a digital wallet and you're actively trading them. If you're just, if you're investing, quote unquote, in Bitcoins, then you probably want to get actually something more like a desktop wallet or even cold storage, which is something like a USB drive that you pull it out of the network completely and it's inaccessible until you put it back in.
Okay, excellent answer. Hope that answers your question. The next person says, what is the best method to purchase Bitcoin or other digital currencies?
I think everybody's using Coinbase at this point.
Okay, so just for the people that are really new to this, and I am myself, so Coinbase, what is that? Where do I go? I go to Coinbase.com?
Coinbase.com.
Okay.
Think of it as like you open up a TD Ameritrade or Schwab account.
Okay.
So you'll go in there, You'll open up a digital wallet. You'll transfer money to it. Once the money gets deposited, you could go buy Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency you want, and then you can buy, sell, and then I think it takes a few days to transactions to
It doesn't normally take that long, but
there's some volatility now. But think of it as a brokerage account.
yeah.
Okay, excellent. Third question, with the visibility of profit loss being so readily available, do you find people being successful with micromanaging their portfolio on, say, an hourly basis?
If you are not a professional speculator and you're trying to day trade crypto, you're going to lose money. You just don't have any good way of tracking how that works. If you're sort of a layman and you're like, I want to get into crypto because everybody's talking about it, get a little bit, put it in an account, put it in a wallet, forget about it. Just leave it alone. Because chances are, over time, you're going to see some growth. But it's going to be a multi-year return. It's not going to be, I mean, think about all these people who've been holding Bitcoin for 5 to 10 years. Now they're millionaires, right? You're not going to see that. And Bitcoin is probably, or crypto in general, is probably more volatile than most speculation that occurs in stock trading.
Okay, so from my perspective, and again, for the people that are new out there, we've got these extreme highs and lows with Bitcoin. So I know micromanaging is not a good idea, that's what you're saying, especially hourly. But there's so many changes. If I invest $500 today and I wake up and it's $800 or $1,000 or whatever, $1,200, is it good then to just pull it out and then wait and put it back in? Or is it...
You're starting to get into day trading at that
Right.
point.
Okay.
How much time do you want to spend every day paying attention to the minute movements of these cryptocurrencies? If that's not your full-time job, don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And this is your full-time job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't day
Right.
trade. I usually hold positions for weeks or months, but you have to realize that the human emotion will play a factor. So if I let's say I put $1,000 into a cryptocurrency, I wake up the next day and it's at $1,400. Am I going to look at that and say, "Wow, I have $400 profit. Let me sell it right then," or am I going to let it ride? And then a week later, my $1,000 is now $500. Am I going to panic and sell it? Chances are, when that happens in real life, you're going to start freaking out, either buy, sell, and then eventually you'll get burned. It's very hard in the crypto world to have fundamental research to plan events like it would be a stock. Like a stock, you could hedge for an earnings event, or maybe there's a conference, maybe there's economic data. But with crypto, it's very difficult to actually plan. I mean, you could have South Korea news, North Korea news hit in 30 seconds, and then you have a 20% price drop or price pop.
Okay, so much harder to,
There.
okay. All right, okay, so the next question here is, why would a digital wallet like Coinbase take a damn week to process a transaction?
It's economies of scale. Like I said, Bitcoin's grown 1,000% in 1 year. That's an unheard of result for an instrument, and it's getting a lot of mainstream media attention. Coinbase and a lot of these other services are, web-based applications. They've got infrastructure behind them. They can only handle so many new users at a time, and they've been getting 100,000 new users a day. Some of the other exchanges, smaller, lesser-known ones, getting 50 to 60,000 new users a day.
Wow.
It really fundamentally is about how many transactions are getting through. And because we've got all these exchanges where they're doing super, super fast trades, like automated buys and sells, we're seeing that unconfirmed transactions, because it takes about an hour for a transaction to actually be confirmed on the Bitcoin network. Unconfirmed transactions have been spiking to 50 to 60, 80,000. I think I saw it at 89,000 the other night. So 89,000 unconfirmed transactions that are being traded against, and it's not actually even there yet. It takes a lot for those networks to catch up to all that.
Okay, so that's why it takes so damn long. Now we know. Let me make sure I asked all those questions. I did, and we have one more on Facebook here. Let me just pull it up, guys. Thank you for working with me here. All right. Yeah, do we have any coming in there? Let's see. Okay. And this one I have to show you a picture of. You guys won't be able to see this picture. Very much looking forward to this episode. What is the recommended way to hold this currency? Buy the actual currency or via stock exchange? Here's the photo, and maybe you can explain the photo or what you're seeing too.
So there's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a GBTC. It's the quote-unquote Bitcoin ETF. An ETF is an exchange-traded product. If we look at like the S&P 500, instead of trading the S&P, you could trade the SPY, which is the ETF that tracks the S&P at a 1-to-1 correlation. So if the S&P goes up 10 points, or we'll say 0.5%, the SPY will go up 0.5%.
Okay, so they kind of correlate with each other.
Right. Most or all the stock indexes between the NASDAQ, which is QQQ, the SPY, which is the spiders, or the SPY, they track basically at 1-to-1, nearly perfect. The GBTC supposedly tracks the price of Bitcoin, but really the GPT is the ETF is not correlated at a 1-to-1 ratio like a stock index, which makes it a product that a lot of retail investors can get to because it's available on your major platforms, your Schwab, TD Ameritrade, but it doesn't move perfectly with Bitcoin. So you could have Bitcoin down 10%, GBTC maybe up 5%, or maybe GBT's down 20%, which is, as a trader or investor, you don't want to see that because it's not working correctly. Also, too, GBTC is only during the stock market hours. Bitcoin trades 24/7. So if you have a flash of if you have Bitcoin drop overnight, you can't go and sell your GBTC. You have to wait till the open, and who knows what it's going to open to. So it could be scary. It's not an instrument that I personally trade. If you want to look at it because you have no other access to Bitcoin charts, it's fine, but there's a lot of programs out there like a TradingView, or really any of these coin-based brokerage platforms, or really just Google, chart of Bitcoin or chart of Litcoin out there, and you can see actually how they move 24/7 a day instead of looking at the GBTC.
Okay, all right, wonderful. Okay, so Wes, any questions on Facebook before I move on? Are we good?
Not yet.
Okay, very good. Okay, so we talked a little bit about that. Okay, so you brought up the word, Chris, I think you brought this up, altcoins. So what are altcoins, just to be clear? Is it just the different names?
I mean, originally altcoin was meaning something other than Bitcoin, but at this point with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin all sort of running at the top of the market, it's really started to mean all of the other coins that get built on top of those networks. And there are literally, thousands. There have been so many ICOs over the last 2 years with new projects, and generally a lot of these altcoin projects that come up, they're purporting to solve a technology problem by building on top of the blockchain. And so you're betting on how successful their technology project is going to be. They'll write a nice white paper, you have to look at who the team is, who the engineers are, what their actual technology claim is, and then guess if that's going to be effective. Now, in some ways, that's better because unlike Bitcoin, you actually have some chance of, say, having a value indicator. Oh, this is a great team. They've got a cool idea. They can actually solve a problem here. But on the other hand, because they're all starting these coins at like $0.0000001 a piece when they're doing these, it's very much like, gray market or pink sheets, like penny stocks. And so you get lots and lots of pump and dump action where people are hyping up something and then they get it up a few pennies and then they sell 100 million and a few pennies profit a piece and then they skip town, So.
There's so much guessing to this whole cryptocurrency world.
It's like an ICO, basically. Think of an IPO for a stock without.
And I think that is one of the questions.
Right.
So what is it? What is that?
Think of it as it's an initial coin offering. So, like Chris was talking about, it's a team of people, engineers. Usually, a lot of these people are really educated who create these coins, really smart programmers, and they go to solve some problem. It could be some kind of payment, secure networks, and communication. Some are just payment for their website or service nowadays with some of the smaller altcoins. But if we look at an ICO, it's me gathering funds luring in investors at a cheaper rate, hoping to have this coin offering where people will pay a premium when it starts trading. So let's say I get in at $5, hopefully it goes to $10 and I double my money. But I got in early at $5, kind of like an IPO for a stock. Problem is there's no regulation, and like Chris was talking about, kind of like with penny stocks, there's a lot of pump and dumps, and the people behind it can make money, but if you come in on the back end, you kind of get screwed. It's almost like an IPO, non-regulated, for a crazy biotech stock with FDA approvals pending. So it could be a
Just
roller coaster
whatever.
for a ride.
I lost a couple $100 on one of those, so it happens.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Okay, so I think we kind of talked about the volatility of Bitcoin. So now I guess I did write in here, explain the volatility between in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies compared to stocks. So
One of the things, I mean, when people, it drives me crazy all the time when people say, I'm going to invest in Bitcoin, and then they go try and do some sort of speculative action, right? You know, I mean, I guess you can invest in it the same as you invest in gold if your idea of investing in gold is to buy gold bars and go throw them in the closet, right? And hope that over time the value grows up. But you know, somebody told me a while back that the difference between investing and speculation was investing means putting money in where you think there's a growth opportunity because there are clear value signals, the strength of a company, the strength of a product, events coming up, things like that that you were talking about. Whereas speculation is taking a guess as to where the herd's going to move as, you know, things kind of panic or get elated, as the case may be. And with crypto, it's just a lot of that. There's no clear value indicator that provides a one-to-one, Bitcoin should be this value. It fundamentally is driven by what people are selling it, what people are paying for it, and the sort of artificial scarcity, because Bitcoins are only mined at a certain pace. And right now, since we're going over the 50% of total coins mined, the amount of Bitcoins that are being generated now has dried up significantly. So you're starting to get into a place where there's some market scarcity, which helps drive that price
More
up.
demand.
Okay, excellent. And do you want to speak to that? Explain the volatility in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies compared to stocks. I guess from the stock side of it, stocks tends to be very, and then up a little and down a little bit.
Right, like, so you have different sectors of stocks. You have your utility stocks, your telecom stocks, which move maybe 0.5% a day, usually, on average. They're low beta stocks. You have high beta stocks like a Netflix or Amazon, we'll call them momentum stocks, that move. They can move 2-3% a day. You know, they're driven by news. You know, let's say Netflix has a new series or some kind of streaming announcement or earnings event. You know, Netflix normally moves around earnings 10-20%, which is huge. Then you have your smaller, like biotech stocks, which can move 50% a day, or a drug trial. They're more speculative. They could go from 5 to 10 or 5 to 1. So that's, you know, probably the most, when you talk about risk, when you look at these small biotech stocks, those carry the most amount of risk or volatility. The cryptos, almost every cryptocurrency out there moves like a crazy biotech stock, but on an everyday level, which makes it crazy. So it makes it attractive for traders because, you know, coming from a background of a CTA, trading a lot of index futures, there was no movement in the market. You know, there was maybe a 0.2% move in the market per day, which creates no opportunities. So a lot of the traders moved over to cryptocurrencies because if I could catch a 20% intraday move, that's crazy. That creates opportunities for traders, which can be very useful, but it could be very harmful too, because if you're on the wrong side of the trade or of the currency, then you could get hit. The volatility is there, so it's not for someone who wants to just you know, think everything's smooth sailing, like, you know, you put it in a telecom stock. It is there for your, you know, your dice rollers out there, as I like to call them.
And we were talking before the show, and one of the things we had said is, you know, if you don't have the money to lose, it's probably not good to invest it in the cryptocurrency. So if $500 is all you have to your name, it's probably not a good idea to throw that money into that. Do you guys agree with that?
Somebody told me the other day that they had their friend had borrowed $25,000 to invest in Bitcoin, and that's just madness.
Okay, don't do that.
Madness.
Usually
One
that's,
takeaway from this episode.
usually that starts, I don't want to sound like a Bitcoin bear out there, a crypto bear, but usually once retail and once everyone at the Thanksgiving dinner table is talking about cryptocurrencies or taking out leverage, borrowing to put money into the crypto market, usually that's the sign, at least in the stock market, that a bubble is coming, and when everyone has that, you know, everything's great, smiling, that's when the most amount of pain will happen.
Okay, so remember that from the trading coach himself. Yes, we have a question.
From Facebook, it says, what would be one or two recommended online brokers to purchase Bitcoin? I think we kind of covered some of that, but are these sites similar to Ameritrade in which I can trade myself? I don't.
Right.
So Coinbase is generally where most people get in, and but it doesn't actually have the full exchange tools to it. GDAX is the actual exchange that they've created, and that allows you most of the standard tools that you might see on like TD Ameritrade or E-Trade or companies like that. GDAX supports a lot of that, like the ability to do sell limits and or stop sells and limit buys or buy limits. I don't
Stop orders, buy stops, all that.
I don't get all the financial terminology right, but they have those tools in place.
What's interesting is, so the CME group, which regulates a lot of the futures markets that you can access via TD or Schwab or E-Trade, they're listing Bitcoin futures, I believe December 18th. So let's say I do have a Schwab or a TD account or E-Trade account. Now, without having to do any other work, let's say I already have my money in that account, now I'll be able to trade Bitcoin futures on that. So I think that's going to create a lot of volume in the Bitcoin futures, because now your retail investors who don't want to open up, Coinbase account or something like that will have access to trade Bitcoin and invest in Bitcoin. So that will be happening very soon. I know it's the CME group has talked about it, and they're finally getting this accomplished. If you want, you can read on their website about it. But all you'll need if you have a TD or a Schwab or account, all you'll need is approval to trade futures, which is like a little questionnaire that you go and submit in.
Okay. Do you recommend that?
I don't
That's
recommend,
a no.
I don't recommend
Moving
anything. I don't recommend anything, but it's there for people if they want to research it.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so this is still kind of flowing out the same question here. That being said, is Bitcoin safe for the average investor? That being said, moving
How
on.
many times have we said risk?
It depends what's your definition of safe.
Okay.
If you're risk tolerant, hey, it's there. If you're not, there's other stuff.
Would you say to either have, I'm just trying to think of the average person, have a savings account or have these mutual funds or regular trading stocks, and then that's kind of like your fun and games. You can,
It's fine.
but you should have kind of that permanent, like it doesn't flux so much account.
The people that I know who are most confident in their Bitcoin holdings are the people who bought their Bitcoin and don't look at it again.
Okay.
Right.
That's my friend Dan. He said, I got it. I put it in cold storage. I'll pull it out in 20 years. It's for the kids.
Okay.
If you can do that, then that's a solid way to approach it. But all of this, it's wildly volatile. We saw almost a 30% change in total market capitalization in the last 48 hours. That's unheard of, in an investment instrument.
If that were to happen to stocks, well, the whole economy just completely collapse and doomsday will happen. Even if we have a 10% market correction in stocks, all you would see in the news was about it. And the crazy part with Bitcoin is now it's starting to appear on the news every day. So if there is a drop or some news out in Bitcoin and you are invested in it, or you do associate with these cryptocurrencies, are you going to have the emotional support to watch these news events, the newspapers, everyone talk about it, and still be level-headed, right?
Right.
So
I do. I see some people that watch the stocks, and they're very engaged in it on the TV. I can't imagine if it was changing minute by minute. I mean,
right.
You'd be so overly invested in it. Okay, and we may have answered this, but what stocks are related to Bitcoin?
So this really over the past year, let alone the past really 3 to 6 months, you've had some companies accept Bitcoin or take in Bitcoin or even offer ICOs or been involved in the whole Bitcoin cryptocurrency kind of boom. We saw Overstock.com, which earlier in the year it was trading. Overstock is actually it's like a online e-commerce website, like a discount
They
website.
have patio furniture 65% off today, just so you know.
Right. And their CEO, I think it's Patrick Barnes, maybe saying that wrong. He's really big into the Bitcoin technology and everything like that. So kind of the company went from hey, let's sell stuff online to hey, now we're associated with Bitcoin. The stock went from $17 to $60. which is crazy.
Because did I hear that right? Because he invested in it?
Because Overstock.com accepts Bitcoin,
Okay.
and he's he's getting involved in Bitcoin technology. So people say, wow, if Bitcoin moves, so let's say Bitcoin were to move 10%, Overstock.com would go up like 5%.
Oh,
so it was
okay.
correlated, very Bitcoin dependent. And now a lot of people over the past couple months got into Overstock.com as a Bitcoin play, and usually when the crowd is when a trade is overcrowded, it drops, and now Overstock.com is down like 20% in the past like 2 weeks, which is wild. You also had Square, so Jack Dorsey's Twitter CEO. A lot of people are accepting Square as a payment process now. They recently made some comments that they're going to start accepting Bitcoin. You had Square just go from like $35 to nearly $50 in a matter of weeks. Now they've had some different conflicts of interest with the CFO saying, hey, we're not a Bitcoin company. Stock has dropped, while the CEO said, yeah, we're fully into Bitcoin. So now you've had Square kind of move with the price of Bitcoin. There's a couple other names out there. I believe one is like Mara, M-A-R-A, which is almost like a penny stock, crazy price fluctuation out there. And then a new one, which is Riot, R-I-O-T.
A new what? A new
Kind of a new stock associated with Bitcoin.
Okay.
Now, over the past 3 weeks, it's became popular. The trading volume has went up nearly 20 times normal volume lately.
That's such a riot.
Yeah, literally. And what's funny about this stock is about 3 years ago it IPO'd. It was a medical company. It was a medical company next to a Subway at the mall. Okay, so this is some of the for the bears out there. This is how kind of crazy the market has become in Bitcoin. So this it IPO'd I think around like $15. Within a year, it was trading at $1.60. So talk about like a pump and dump. $1.60. They changed their name recently to Riot, and they included a blockchain in their name. And they took, I believe, a 10% stake in Coinbase, if I recall correctly recently. Therefore, the price it was going up 50% a day. 25, 40, 50% a day over the past week or two. The stock went from $1.60 to nearly, I think, $25, maybe even more.
Wow.
In a matter of weeks, strictly because they said they have blockchain in their company name now, and they have a 10% stake in Coinbase.
So do people need to do like research in, it sounds like some of these people are kind of scamming a little bit. Like, okay, we can raise this up.
Right. I don't want to call it a scam,
Okay.
but just a simple name change,
Okay.
or a simple, how do you go from a medical company to now a blockchain company, and the price goes up strictly because of the name change. Something to keep an eye out for.
Okay.
When you see stocks like this move, just know there's probably a lot of risk associated with it.
Okay, and the word again, risk.
Yeah.
Good question.
Is Bitcoin, because you have to mine it, is it like a finite amount? It is, okay.
Yep.
Explain
There's when any new cryptocurrency is created, there's a total issuance as part of the code that runs that coin. It's the numbers, I'm losing it right now. I think it might be something like 21 million or something. I can't remember the total exactly right now, but there is a fixed amount, and it's more than half mined right now.
Oh.
And because Bitcoin is what they call a proof of work token, the speed at which new blocks of encryption are a new coin is rewarded, it slows down based on network density. So in the last 2 years, network density within Bitcoin has become so much that if you're not a professional miner with server racks of ASICs miners, it's not even worth the power that it costs to run those cycles, because the return that you're going to get in that Bitcoin is so slight, these spikes in value notwithstanding. They're saying right now that a single Bitcoin transaction, because of the amount of hashing involved with it, is something like the cost of 10,000 credit card swipes in power usage. It's pretty significant.
Cool.
Wow,
Okay.
excellent. Okay, great question. Thank you. There have been big cryptocurrency hacks in the news. How can I keep my crypto safe?
Cold storage. Fundamentally, if if you want to invest in some crypto, by which I mean get some and hold it and not worry about it, cold storage is the absolute best way to do that. There's a couple of different options for that. You've got, I'm not going to plug any specific product, but if you look up crypto cold storage, they're essentially like USB drives, and your crypto information is just stored on that drive and then taken offline, not connected to a computer or anything else along that. It's definitely, that's the absolute safest method aside from like making a paper wallet, which is you printing out your little crypto string and basically putting it in an envelope somewhere. Second safest is using a desktop wallet, something like Electrum, but that's still on your computer. So if someone has access to your computer, then that's a potential problem there. Probably the least safest is also the most common, which is digital wallets, because those digital wallets are being attacked constantly.
So what does it mean when they're hacked? So for us newbies out there, so my money's somewhere in the crypto world and I have a number associated with me, and then someone goes in and hacks and that number disappears?
Right. I mean, there's probably three different ways that crypto hacks occur. The most common one is that kind of a scenario where some of the early Bitcoin miners who had thousands and thousands of coins, they literally had people take over their email account, take over their phone account, all the rest of that, the same way that you normally would, hack somebody's stuff, and get into their stuff, transfer that out to another wallet, and once those transactions are confirmed, it's gone. You can bounce it 50 ways to Sunday from there. It becomes very difficult to track. The second is when you have an actual provider themselves get hacked, right? We've had, of course, the Mt. Gox hack was a big one, and there have been a couple others that the actual digital wallet provider themselves, their database was accessed by hackers outside, and so they get in there and they just start pumping transactions through to outside wallets and pull it all out. It's just gone.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing with the regulation aspect. It's attractive because there's no regulation, so it's almost like a cowboy show where you could have crazy fluctuation. But when stuff like this happens, if someone hacks,
You're out.
right? Like if you have a credit card and it gets hacked, right? You go to the bank and say, hey, this is fraud. I didn't use those charges.
They give you your money back.
You get your money back. With Bitcoin or these cryptocurrencies, your wallet, well.
Oh, wow.
And so what we've seen is that, when the hacks are big enough, there's something that they can do that's called hard fork. And essentially what that means is that because this is a distributed ledger, right, we have a number of transactions that we know should have been the case, and they can literally change the code set to sort of roll it back, kind of like doing a backup.
Okay.
The problem is when they do that, lots of transactions can get lost or unconfirmed along the way, and the bigger and more dense this marketplace gets, the higher volume, the higher capitalization, the less likely that action is going to happen because of the impact to the overall ecosystem. The final way, which was really popping this last year, is that you'll have companies doing ICOs, and somebody will intercept that ICO. A company, Coindash, as a matter of fact, had a huge ICO, and the hacker was able to access their website and change the wallet address that was listed on their website a couple of minutes after it went live. And so everybody who was buying into this ICO was actually sending coins to this hacker's wallet.
Oh, wow.
In fact, that plays off of this question. There's a lot of scams and ICOs, and the majority of them have been rumored to be scams. What altcoins do you guys like for future investments? Altcoins.
Yeah, I was just kind of going to tie to some of the questions I'm going to ask you about the future. So yeah, that's a great.
I think what's important with every altcoin out there, do your research and look at the market cap, and also look what other companies are involved in it. So if you have big companies, I believe IOTA, Microsoft is involved in it. So when you see, this altcoin like IOTA or another altcoin, whatever one you look at, see if large corporations have taken a stake or use it, or if they have confidence in the technology. Because if they do, chances are they have more research, more knowledge than you do, and that should build more confidence in something that you're looking to get involved in. So I was looking at that earlier today. Microsoft with the technology. Even if you look at the IOTA website, they mention everything. It drives a little bit more confidence than, let's say, Coin XYZ from Jack Smith over there in Ohio making some new crypto currency coin. So do
Coin.
do your research on them. Understand what you're getting into. See if there's big players involved, big corporations. If so, that can increase confidence. Just like if you're doing it with the stock. Let's say you like Apple, you like the CEO, you like management, you like the products. That's going to give you more confidence to invest in Apple, for instance.
Okay.
And for people who are looking for more traditional investing strategies that are sort of tangentially connected to blockchain, there are companies right now that are starting to build more mature, more stable, actual businesses around the technology. And that's probably way less risky than investing in any individual coin. Companies like Hashgraph are building enterprise apps on private blockchains, which is wildly different than what we're seeing out here in this marketplace. So I mean, there's definitely technology to watch that there will be good investment opportunity for over the next 2 to 3 years. But again, research.
When I was emailing these guys back and forth some of the questions and ideas that were coming in, one of them said to me, "Man, this could be a 2-hour segment," and now I see that this could be a 2-hour segment for sure. There's so much information. Okay, so we have about 4 minutes left. Let's just ask a few of these last questions here. Will cryptocurrency replace national currencies? And I added to this one by saying, if so, how many years or decades do you think it would really take to do this?
I don't think so at all. USD is already practically a digital currency. Far more of it is in digital form than is ever in paper form. I think that, if anything, we'd see governments start to incorporate some of this technology within their own currency holdings. But, your dollars are already numbers in a computer.
Okay. What do you think?
Well, from a trading aspect, you're seeing a lot more volume in these cryptocurrencies with whatever company or whatever currency that your country's in or whatever currency you're trading in. So a lot of the Forex traders, traders that trade the euro, the Aussie, the yen, the USD compared to each other, I think that market it's already eroding away, but I think that market's going to die, so you're going to have more cryptocurrency Forex trading, I guess that would be a thing.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency, country currency trading be more, or have way more volume than Forex trading just in general. I don't think, there's been articles of the death of the US dollar for years now. I don't think they're going to take over. The main thing with this whole Bitcoin cryptocurrency world is federal regulation and the Fed. The Fed, if we look at the Fed here in the U.S., the U.S. Central Bank, and then the ECB in Europe, they've been pretty vocal. They're not touching it, which is good for the cryptocurrency market, because if the Fed were to get involved, then everything could really hit the fan. They banned it.
Now we're being trapped.
Right. So I think as long as the Fed takes their stance and they worry about their country currency, like for our instance, the U.S. dollar, the ECB with the euro, if they don't get involved, I think, like Chris was talking about, everything right here in the U.S. dollar, everything's online already. That's why you've had a surge in credit card processing companies, Visa, MasterCard, Discover. People don't carry cash anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
It's what we're seeing in the world, and you're not seeing crazy price fluctuation in the dollar. The dollar stabilized, and that's been the goal. If you want to get into like governments and everything for a while now.
Okay.
If one Bitcoin buys you a gallon of milk one day and a Lamborghini the next, that's not good currency.
Right.
Well, that would be really cool. Okay. So I guess the big question: do people buy cryptocurrency?
You have a high stomach for risk, then maybe.
And some money to
If you
lose.
do a lot of research and you are not counting on that money at all, yes.
To make the bull case for cryptocurrency, for all the gold bugs out there and everyone, you have gold, you store it, you get no return on it unless the price of gold goes up. If so, how are you going to use your gold? You're going to have to go to...
You can give it to me.
Right. You can't go to Publix or a grocery store, chip off, this part of gold and say, hey, here, let me buy a thing of milk. With the dollar, you can.
Mm-hmm.
With Bitcoins, could you possibly in the future? Probably. You could already buy furniture on Overstock.com. You could already buy some of the, some websites have already accepted it. If you have big companies, which I know some Bitcoin investors are hoping on, you have companies like Amazon start accepting Bitcoin, then you could buy anything with Bitcoin. So it becomes, a meaningful currency to use that has value. Something that gold, and there's a lot of gold bugs out there, but what am I going to do? Bring a gold bar to buy this car? I mean, it can't happen with cryptocurrency, or at least with Bitcoin. It's starting to go that way.
Okay.
That's the bull case.
Okay. All right. I like it. Where can we find out everything about Chris and Lance so that we can follow you?
You can check me out on symphonyagency.com. I'm on Twitter. I'm Mr. Dubious, and that's probably about the two best places.
Okay.
You check me out at tradingcoachlance.com, Lance Sablato on Twitter, YouTube Lance Sablato, or just search on Google tradingcoachlance.com.
Excellent. And that's his last name is Ippolito, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, that's it. We're good. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy December 1st. Sebastian might be investing in cryptocurrency after this segment. Next week on the Dr. Jaime Show, Debbie Lundberg with Presenting Powerfully. Have a non-high risky weekend. Okay. Bye. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching the Dr. Jaime Show episode this week. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Do me a favor and subscribe to me on iTunes and YouTube. And of course, please give me some feedback on the show. Looking forward to reading it.